Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, this is David Benjamin from HealthyWildAndFree.com. Today I want to share with you information on the ego, and I want to talk about the ego in correlation to your health. I want to talk about the ego in correlation to your happiness. I want to talk about the ego in correlation to your goals, your life, your feeling and sense of being content, your authenticity, your value, your worth, your everything, your ego. So, interestingly enough, when I was 19 years old, my brother, who's an inspiration and a huge, amazing person in my life, I mean, he's influenced me in so many ways. He actually has a website called MajesticFreedom.com, and he has a Facebook page called Majestic Freedom as well. If you're into freedom, sustainability, and just like expressing your true infinite potential, check out Majestic Freedom on Facebook and MajesticFreedom.com. You will love his work. Anyway, so when I was 19 years old, my brother and I were roommates, and at the time I was pretty broke. I didn't have really any money. I quit my job in order to pursue my dreams, but nothing was working at all. I had insomnia. I couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't sleep well at all. I had heart palpitations. I wasn't healthy. Wasn't happy, wasn't fulfilled. And in my mind, in my mindset at that time, at that point in my life was, I need to make money. I just need to get money. The answer is money. If there was a question in life, if I had a problem, health, sleep, relationships, whatever, my answer was money. I thought money would solve all my problems. And it was this idea and this philosophy that I had developed over time because I grew up in a household where money was scarce, and we really barely got by. I mean, I remember asking for animal crackers when I was a kid. Every time I'd go to the grocery store, I'd be like, "Mom, can I get some animal?" There was these boxes of animal crackers with little string on it, and there's like pictures of animals on it. I was like, and they're out in the hallways of this grocery store. I was like, "Mom, can I get animal crackers?" She said no every time. Like literally every time. She never said once. So growing up, I had sort of this need and desire to have what I wanted, because that really wasn't fulfilled when I was a kid. I wanted things, and I never got what I wanted. So for me, when I got to a place in my life at 19 years old where I was like, all right, I'm on my own, I'm living on my own, I want to build my dreams, I want to make an income, I want to have more than enough money so that I can take care of myself and live my dreams. And at that point in my life, money was what mattered to me. Money was my sole motivator. Money was my identity. Money was my ego. Let me say that again. Money was my ego. My ego was money. So I attached who I was and who I wanted to be, and my value and my self-worth and my importance and my happiness and my health and my relationships with friends or women, all these contingencies based on the amount of money that I had. So I was delaying my happiness, my success, my health, my relationships, my friendships. My entire life was delayed because of money. I literally put money before everything, and it completely put me in a rut, and it was a horrible place and a horrible time in my life where I was lost, I was confused, I was frustrated, I didn't feel good, nothing was working in my favor. And it wasn't until at this point I was 19 years old, my brother shared this documentary with me called The Shift from a guy named Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer actually just passed away last year. He wrote a lot of books on spirituality, he did a lot of PBS talks and things like that. And in this film, it's sort of a documentary slash story film, he talks about the ego and how the ego correlates to our life, and how we develop an ego over time, and how that ego influences our identity and the way we view the world and how we act and who we think we are, and all these beliefs that make up our happiness, health, success, and just overall peace of mind in life. And that was something I didn't understand at the time. I didn't know what the ego was. I didn't understand the concept of the ego. I didn't understand my lower self and my higher self, my ego and my higher self, or the evolution of myself and that kind of thing. And it wasn't until I saw that film that I really realized, wow, like I'm really viewing things wrong. So in that film, he talks about the ego and how it's defined, how the ego affects us. So I'm going to share that with you today. And I highly recommend you watch the film. It changed my life dramatically, and I highly recommend just checking it out. It's only like an hour long. And you're going to learn a lot about priorities, men and women, how they're different, how the ego affects our lives, and how if you begin to understand and recognize your ego and be more mindful of when your ego is talking and when your higher self is talking, it can truly benefit your life, your health, your finances, your relationships, everything across the board. So please check that documentary out. So, the ego. One of the things I loved about Wayne Dyer and his work was he was so real. He was so authentic. He was one of those people, if you watch his PBS talks or his YouTube videos or anything online, any of his work, listen to his interviews, anything, you're going to realize that this individual was he had it figured out. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, he was peaceful, he was content, he was happy, he had the zen of life mastered. And I always respected and admired that about him, because every time I saw him speak or heard him or read his work, it just made sense. The wisdom, the guidance, the flow, the rhythm of life suited his work in his favor, and he just really influenced me in a positive way. So he defined the ego in an acronym, and the acronym is edging God out, EGO. And whether you believe in God or not, whether you're an atheist or whatever it may be, it really doesn't matter, because if you take that acronym, edging God out, it could mean edging positivity out, it could mean edging love out, it could be edging other people out, it could be edging the universe or planet out. It could mean anything. So don't get caught up in the terms or definitions, but it basically meant edging God out, or edging something out, pushing something away from you in a form of isolation. So the ego, first and foremost, is a form of isolation from your truest, most authentic self, which is what people call your higher self, or the area within yourself that represents the most authentic, most valuable, truest, universal portion of yourself. So with that being said, the ego in that definition means several different things. And Wayne Dyer broke it down into 6 different kind of areas or categories that the ego could kind of manifest in your life. And I'm going to share 3 of those with you today, and the other 3 you can read on the article at healthywildandfree.com. I'll link up right below this video. The first one of those is you are what you do. So the first false belief that the ego kind of manifests in your life is you are what you do. So, maybe you're an engineer or a chef or a doctor, lawyer, nurse, whatever it may be. The ego tells you you are what you do. That's who you are. That's it. There's nothing beyond that. You are what you do. So what you do for a living is who you are, and who you are is what you do for a living, and that's pretty much it. But that really doesn't make sense. I mean, who you are, your organs, your tissues, your cells, your blood, your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit, your infinite potential. You can't limit yourself or define yourself by what you do for a living to pay the bills once a month. I mean, it's kind of ludicrous when you start to think about it and really analyze who you are and what you do. But the ego, that's one of the ego's lies, is you are what you do. So the first kind of one area to detach yourself from the ego, or to not allow the ego to play a larger role in your life, is to detach from what you do and start to begin to understand who you truly are. Because what you do is what you do for a living. That may be something you're passionate about. Like, for example, the work that I do, it means a lot to me. But it's not who I am. Who I am is who I'm becoming. It's who I'm evolving into. It's infinite potential once again. So you can't define yourself by what you do, because that's the ego's lies. That's an easy answer. It's an easy pathway out of really digging deeper and diving deeper and understanding who you are, which has a huge host of benefits once you do that deep inner work. So that's the first lie of the ego, is you are what you do. The second lie, which is huge and rampant in America, especially, is you are what you own. Now, you can have millions, billions of dollars in assets, millions of dollars in assets, and you can firmly believe that's who you are. You are the shit you've accumulated. Like, think about that for a minute. All that shit, like all the, like houses, properties, cars, boats, planes, electronics, shoes, handbags. That's who you are. So, you're not really. That was a joke. So that's one of the lies of the ego as well, is you are what you own. And you are not what you own. What you own is just what you've accumulated in this life experience, and when you go, or when you rid yourself of those things, they're out of your life. There's no attachment there. There shouldn't be any attachment there. In fact, typically the more people own, the more attached they are to what they own. Whether it's 1 or 2 homes or 2 cars and a boat and a camper and properties or whatever. Typically, the more people own, the more attached they get to what they own. Which is why I'm a huge advocate for a minimalist type lifestyle, because it's easier, it's happier, it's freer. It's tied down. There's a lot of benefits, but you are not what you own, and if you start to attach your happiness or your identity through your ego lens to what you own, you start to become attached to the result of what you own. Meaning, in other words, your happiness, your feeling of being content, your self-worth, all these beliefs that make up the identity and the happiness of yourself become attached to those things around you in your life, which are not you, they're just surrounding you. And sometimes it's a lot of shit surrounding you, so you need to detox and get rid of it a little bit. So, you are not what you own. The third lie of the ego is you are what other people think of you. Now, this is something that I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that at a young age, I was like the biggest outcast in the history of the school in the city I grew up in, I swear. Like, that's a long story, I'll get into it another day, but I was outcasted in middle school at like 12 years old, and I had like no friends. I mean, I had a few friends, but it was like I was just pushed away. I was isolated, and I learned a really big, really valuable lesson at that point in my life, in middle school and in high school, that I don't give a shit what anyone thinks of me, because it's completely invalid, because they don't know me, they don't know my life story, they don't know what I've been through, and they don't understand why I'm the way I am, and they just aren't going to get it. Like, simple as that. Like, they'll never understand. They've never walked in my shoes. They've never seen what I've seen. They've never felt what I felt. They haven't viscerally experienced my life. So when other people judge you, and when other people tell you who you are, what you look like, they tell you you aren't shit, they tell you this and that. I mean, it could be your parents, it could be your aunts, your uncles, your friends, your family, whoever. It really doesn't matter. It's all bullshit. It's all their opinion. It's all their perspective. And typically those same people are dealing with bullshit in their life and trauma and all sorts of things that they haven't dealt with. So they like to project and spew out all this bullshit to people close to them in their life, because they haven't dealt with their shit yet. So it's easier to victimize other people and to point fingers at other people and try to get them to fix their shit, because internally they can't fix their own shit. So it's easier to try to fix the other people outside of them. And that's one of the things I've noticed in life too. It's interesting how people try to fix you or tell you what to do or whatever when they haven't kind of done it themselves. It's easier to talk about it than it is to actually do it, be it, live it, and hear. So with that being said, it's interesting how the ego tells us what other people tell me about myself is the truth. That's also not the truth. So one of the things I learned from what I call her my adopted grandma, Grandma Diane. I'll send this video to you. One of the things I learned from her is a really valuable life lesson as well, is that people are told lies over and over and over again. And those lies are lies, but if you're told the lie over and over and over and over again, eventually you're going to believe it's truth if you don't understand it, or if you're not 100% sure or you're uncertain. And that lie will become your truth, even though universally it's a lie, it becomes your truth. And then you're living a lie, a repetitive, negative, habitual cycle that begins to eat away at your spirit, eat away at your goals, your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations, all these different things. And then that identity, that false lie, that ego sense of self that you've brought into your being becomes who you are. And that's not who you are. So a big shift in your life that you can take is detaching yourself from your ego. And your ego comes from a place of separation and isolation. So whenever you feel separate from the world, from people, from humanity, from the planet, from God, whenever you feel separate from all that is, all positivity, all love, all hope, that's the ego. That's the separation. So the ego is a wall. The ego is not a bridge. The ego is a wall of isolation, of separation, of edging God out, of edging people out, of edging the planet out. Anytime there's that separation, there's ego there. So that false identity, that false belief that you've built up, you are what you do, you are what you own, and you are what other people think of you, those are all lies, and you have to cut those ties in order to transcend and to evolve and to step into a higher version of yourself that serves yourself in a way that's more valuable and serves the planet in a way that's more valuable. So what does this have to do with your health? You aren't going to be healthy if you're living out of your ego. You aren't going to be happy if you're living out of your ego. And you aren't going to accomplish your life goals and dreams and aspirations if you're living out of your ego. Why do I say that? Well, for me, I mean, I know quite a bit about health, nutrition, and wellness and that type of thing, but I never stop learning, and I never assume that someone, even if they are not what I am, so if they have a label like fruitarian or vegan or paleo or whatever, I still think I can learn from them, and I believe I can learn from anyone and everyone. So I don't judge prematurely, and I've kind of like dropped that ego and embraced learning and curiosity and understanding and compassion and empathy, so that I can reach out and pull a lot into my life and learn and benefit from that, so that I can do the same and project that out into the world, which is the work that I do. So that's that. In terms of being healthy, if you feel like you know it all, oh, you know, I know about nutrition, I know about health, I know about detoxing, that's a lie. This is, you know, if you have all these assumptions and beliefs running in your head all the time, you can't do this with that, or you can't, you know, take this oil or fat, or, you know, this is bad, this is good. You put labels on everything, and you know it all, and you're right. You're right about everything. What are you going to learn? That's another belief of the ego, is you're right. I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. I know. I'm right. We say it all the time. We think it all the time. I know. I'm right. You know. So it's all these ideas and beliefs that kind of create this false sense of identity, which is our ego, not our highest, most understanding, highest evolved version of ourselves. So once you begin to drop the ego, drop being right. Stop being right for a little bit and see how much you learn. Stop associating who you are with what you own, what you do, and what other people think of you. And that'll free up a lot of mental space and capacity in your life to be healthier, happier, and really just accomplish your goals and move in the direction of your dreams, which is really important, which ultimately, I mean, the work that I do here is to inspire you to live a healthier, more abundant life, and in doing so, pursue your dreams and your value at a higher level so you can serve the world and planet in a better way. So I hope this video meant something to you. My name is David Benjamin from HealthyWildandFree.com. Please like, favorite, comment, and share this video, and I will see you in the next video. Make sure to live healthy, wild, and free, and have, oh, I gotta get this, and have a healthy, wild, and free day. Take it easy. Bye.